Hello everyone, I'm Alberto Savoia and welcome to the Alpha Product Manager. How to win the product management game. How can I call product management a game? Well, you will see, I know it's a very serious business, but we definitely know that we want to win it. And in this series of lessons, I will teach you how to do it, how to become an Alpha Product Manager. Now, lesson one, an introduction. What makes a product manager an Alpha Product Manager? Well, the answer is that an alpha product manager makes what I call alpha bets. What do I mean by an alpha bet? Well, the term alpha comes from the investment world. And an alpha investment is one that returns higher than average return. It beats the benchmark. So for example, in the world of investment, say you pick the benchmark like the S&P 500 index, and an alpha strategy or an alpha portfolio is one designed to give you better return than that S&P 500 index. Also, I have to be honest, the inspiration from Alphabet came from the name change that Google had. Google parent company is called Alphabet, and I like the way that Larry Page explained the name. Alphabet, of course, has multiple meanings, but one that he likes particularly is that alpha bets are bets that return better than average return. They're the 10x, they're the 100x. So Google wants to be in the business of making alpha bets. And as a product manager, as you will see, you also want to make alpha bets. You want to invest in products that have a higher than average success rate. So let's talk about rates and rating, right? How do you rate product management? So how do you rate a product manager over a career? Well, there are many ways of doing it. But I like to say it with numbers, as you will learn in this series. So after discussing this with many dozens, hundreds of product managers, both clients and students, most of them agree that it is fair to use a success ratio. So over the career of a product manager, you look at the products that they've launched, all of them, and see how many of them have been successful products. So you look at the ratio of successful products brought to the market versus all products that they've brought to the market. And of course, this applies not just to individual product managers, but also to companies, to organizations in general. And I hope that you agree with me that if over a career, a product manager hasn't had many successes, then that could be improved upon. Now, using this ratio, what is the industry standard? What is the benchmark? So if you go and look at how many products are launched each year, hundreds of thousands, and you look at how many of them succeeds, you have a pretty good sample from which to choose. Well, there is a company, Nielsen Research, that every year looks at tens of thousands of new product launches, and every year publishes this report, and every year the results are pretty much the same. So I've just picked a random year because all the years are pretty much the same, plus or minus 1 or 2%. 20% of the new products launched can be called a success, maybe even a star, super successful, 10x, 100x, wildly exceeding our expectations. And sadly, 80%, either fail outright or are canceled, or they're a disappointment, meaning that the expectations were here and the results came here. Now, clearly, you do not want to keep investing in products that do not return what you expected, right? Because you have limited resources. So this is the benchmark. So if you go and look at the typical success rate in product management, it's 10 to 30%, depending on the industry, which means the failure rate is 70 to 90%, depending on the type of products and the type of industry. And I mentioned that because a lot of people say, well, Alberto, you're pretty tough. In my industry, the success rate is higher. Or some people say, Alberto, you're too easy. In my industry, the success rate is very low. So here's a very simple chart, different industry, A, B, C, D, F. Maybe A is the book industry. Well, it's a well-known fact that in the book industry, lots of books are published, very few of them, 10% or less are profitable, are successful for the publisher. Of course, the ones that are successful make up for all the other ones that are not successful, right? One Harry Potter will cover a lot of losses. In some industry, the success rate is a little higher. Maybe if you open an Italian restaurant, people like Italian restaurants, you put in a right part of town where there is enough foot traffic, your odds of success are higher. Nevertheless, if you go and look at pretty much any industry, any type of product, the success rate for new products and new product introduction is very low, whether you're a first-time entrepreneur or whether you're an already successful company, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. It doesn't even have to be a technology company. So regardless of the industry you're in, the type of products you're in, the alpha product manager will produce greater than benchmark results. So if you're in the book publishing industry and your typical success rate is 10%, an alpha product manager will do that better by 2 or 3 times as better. And if you're in this industry where your success rate is higher because it's a more established product, the alpha product manager will also do better there. Now, this is very important because as you've probably noticed, but I know many of you probably haven't thought about it, success compounds, right? Just like interest rates, just like reinvesting the dividends. If you have one successful product and you start to build an audience, you start to build customer, you build upon it. I mean, that's how trillion-dollar companies like Google make it, right? You start with search. I was lucky enough to be at Google in the early days where all they had was search, right? And then I was in the, in the team that helped to launch Google Ads. And guess what? Once you have billions of people going to your webpage to search for stuff, if you put ads on it, it is going to be successful. So all of a sudden you start to monetize, you start to make a lot of money, you can invest in other products, you can launch things like Gmail, you get even more users, you have a user base, a way to communicate with the user, then you launch Chrome, Android, Google Cloud, so on and so forth, right? So successes compound. That's why it's so important to try to be as successful as you can. It's not just one thing. Let's look at another example of success compounding. Amazon was very successful selling books online, and the success with books led them to try to sell DVDs online, and then DVD players, all kinds of electronics, and then groceries. Pretty much you can buy anything on Google, on Amazon now, and then they're moving to groceries and health, and this is why it's important. Success compounds, so you want to be as successful as possible. So in summary, remember these lessons are designed to be very short and to the point, so you can keep coming back for these bite sizes and you'll remember. So an alpha product manager, which is the title of the series, is a product manager that makes alpha bets. And what are alpha bets? They're bets that have a much higher than average return. They're product bets, by the way, right? You bet on this product will succeed in the market. Now, how much higher rate of success are you going to ask? Well, 60 to 80%, as opposed to say 10 to 30%. Now, I know what you're saying. You're going to say, Alberto, that's impossible, right? Well, I love that you're skeptic, because you should be skeptic. It is not impossible, but it requires you to follow certain techniques. And if you follow these techniques, and instead of going by your guts, you say with numbers, and you have a certain rigor and discipline in validating your product ideas before you invest in them, you can definitely achieve that rate. You will identify products that are likely to fail very early, so you can dismiss those, and you have a much, much greater chance of launching successful products in the market. Now, I use terms like bets, and I call the product management a game, and you wonder why? Bet sounds like gambling. Game sounds like something you do for fun. Product management is my business, is how I feed myself and my family. Yes, I know. But think about this. There are, in the last few decades, we've learned a lot from game theory. There are some lessons from game theory and placing bets in certain environments that can really help you maximize the odds for success. And I mean that not just by luck, mathematically. I know, you like how you say mathematically. Yes, I like math. Don't worry, there is not a lot of math. I made things so simple, just plus or minus. Plus or minus 1, just a basic operation, arithmetic a child could do. So it's a big promise, but I promise that I will deliver, and you will learn the techniques of being an alpha product manager. And then, whether you want to become one, it's really up to you. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to triple your success rate and have a better career? So in the next lesson, I'm going to discuss why I use terms like bets and game. In the meantime, if you like this, follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter. I have other lessons on YouTube, and of course I've written a couple of books. My latest is called The Right It, Why So Many Ideas Fail and How to Make Sure You'll Succeed. And I hope you follow me and subscribe to this if you're watching it on YouTube, and come back for more lessons. Thanks a lot. I hope to see you soon, and in the meantime, good luck with your products. Bye-bye.